Alright, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I love making videos that come across as questions. And I had a subscriber message me, and they were asking me what deck, besides Sky Strikers, they're kind of on a budget. By budget, I mean they got a solid $200 to kind of work with and build a deck. And they were asking me which of the Paleo, Trickstar, or Mekk-Knight should they go with. And I'm honestly here to try to answer that question for this fine feather duelist. So let's dig on into which of these three decks at $200 would Big Papa Robbie build. You already know the answer. Alright, so you're on a $200 budget, and we are looking at a few decks available to us to kind of pick things up, kind of try the waters a little bit, see if we're going to have some success. Now, the first one we're going to look at here is Paleozoic. Now, I hate Paleozoic with a passion, but I'm going to look at this deck and analyze what the deck can do, and would the deck be a viable choice when I have other choices available to me? So first off, Paleo is a relatively back row heavy deck, which means any deck that goes second is going to evenly match you out the fucking door. Like, you see me here, you'll be gone before it even knows. The inherent disadvantage is, well, evenly matched does beat you, and that's pretty much summarizes that, right? Well, no. So, taking a look at the top 32 Paleo deck, there are a lot of integral plays that you can make. Obviously, ending on a totally awesome with some sort of access to totally awesome or other particular cards to disrupt your opponent will put you in that game-winning position where you want to be. And I think it's very important to kind of understand when you're looking at Paleo as a deck. Yeah, you lose to evenly matched, but you try to play cards to kind of prevent that scenario from coming up. And it's a relatively strange occurrence when you look at Paleo as a deck, because one, the deck has to be built extremely good to be viable, which honestly I think is one of the hardest things to do. Having the perfect formulae for what you need, whether or not it be deck choices like Heavy Storm Duster, if you're crazy and you're playing some shit like Card Demise, even down to like aspect ratios on desires. These are all questions that you're going to have to ask yourself at the end of the day. Now, depending on how the meta starts to evolve, and we start to head towards things like Heavy Storm Duster, Twin Twisters, Mystical Space Typhoons, Cosmic Cyclones, you need to ask yourself, how viable am I expecting my Paleo choice to be? If this is going to be the deck I'm going to be sitting on for a format or two, or even three, will going into a back row heavy format ruin my chances? Honestly, I don't think Paleo is the best choice of these. Now, if you're a stun player and you like things like Paleo, then that's perfectly understandable. I would go for Paleo based on the strict fact of grind games are your thing. Sitting up, totally awesome as a negator is absolutely fucking fantastic. Sure, that's great, but at the end of the day, Paleo just, of all of the decks available, it's too glass cannon for me. You touch it, you interrupt it, you do something out of the blue to the deck just kind of falls apart. And it's really discouraging for players to see that, because a lot of players want this super consistent deck, and it's like, hey, I want to go about this, I want to play this. Unfortunately, Paleo doesn't give you that. And like I said, I keep coming back to the point of evenly matched beats your deck. As long as you don't have a Solemn Judgment or something like that, it seems like you're going to have an incredibly bad time for just your deck choice in general. I know evenly beats a lot of decks right now, but let's be honest here. I don't want my entire existence to be dictated by my opponent going second and just blowing me out of the water for no reason. So, my 2 cents of the three choices, Papa ain't feeling Paleo. Alright, some people will probably say go for Paleo. Paleo's probably the cheapest of the three decks. You'll probably still have some money left over, but in the long run, no. Now, the next one is Trickstar. Now, this deck is extremely good right now, especially on whatever budget you're on, because Well, interesting fun fact. If you are playing Burn, if you're relatively, if you like playing the rules to your advantage, we're gonna say it like that. You have a built-in engine to punish your opponent when you go into end-of-match procedures. That's great, right? That's what the deck does. You also have Droll and Lockbird, monster or Trickster Reincarnation, which just laughs at your opponent and forces your opponent to drop their entire hand, and you just stare at them and go, haha, hee hee. Like, the fact that you can wipe your opponent's entire hand for literally zero commitment is kind of fucking dumb in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, the Cheesebird combo doesn't come up as much as I want to say it does. And it's kind of weird because Droll and Lockbird Trickster Reincarnation is extremely good. But just how consistent are you going to be able to open up those two cards to cheese your opponent with? In terms of consistency and things like that, this deck doesn't lose evenly. This deck does have a few problems with Twin Twister, pretty much like Paleo did. Mind Crush is also a problem, though I feel that Trickstar's ceiling is a little bit higher. Pure Trickstar as a concept is a little bit, I want to say, more developed. The ceiling's a little bit higher in terms of your generalized plays. Droll and Lockbird does shut you down, ironically. Also Shared Ride. I don't think a lot of people realize it, but in the Trickstar mirror, and especially if you're looking at wanting to pick up Trickstar off of this discussion, look at it this way. Shared Ride does punish you a lot. You do a lot of searching. Lilybell does things. Yeah, there's a lot of applications in Theorio to kind of look at when you're looking at this deck. So I don't, once again, personally, I would not pick up Trickstars. I know there would be a few people that would comment saying, hey, probably should approach Trickstars. It's a very consistent deck. The deck has a lot of good plays. Absolutely it does. But I'm not in the mood to lose to Mind Crush because I opened up Double Licorice. I already questioned my life when I would open up triple terraforming for, light stages. Yeah, it's good, but terraforming's limited now. So, I don't know, Field Spell decks just, it's yikes for me, dog. So, I don't know, Trickstars just aren't my cup of tea as a meta player. Obviously heavy back row decks, burning for Trickstars. I mean, you have options available to you for whatever skill set you want to approach. So burn and heavy back row seems good. Now the next one is actually the one that I would probably approach if I was doing this, if I was on a budget, something like $200. Okay, so I would approach the concept of Mekk-Knight and probably combine it with Invoke. Now, the reason I look at this deck is, one, you can go second. I think a lot of people kind of discount the fact that we are pretty much going first meta, which really punishes a lot of players out there. Like, it is god-awful trying to be a budget player, or any player at the moment trying to go second. Mekk-Knight can capitalize off of the columns, capitalize off of everything that your opponent is attempting to do by having a nice little toolbox of large monsters for you to recruit from to kind of gather your resource pieces, which is what we want, right? Like, want to be able to go second and first in a deck? Like, of these three choices, I mean, Mekk-Knight seems the best, right? Well, in addition to having Mekk-Knights, obviously, you're not going to be able to have the best hand trap ratio in the world, but I'm sure you can pull something together. Let's be honest. The Invoked Engine, you're going second deck that can OTK with a toolbox. Like, what more do you want, alright? As opposed to just slow, subtle burn from Trickstars with a hand loop, and being able to control your opponent with Paleozoic, which isn't something that I would find myself wanting to do. I want to find myself going, okay, cool, Morningstar effect, recruit. Now, obviously, the deck does require a decent amount of skill. You do have to pick up an Invoked Engine. It's kind of a nightmare kind of piecing it together. You might be scraping short of a couple of resources, touching it at 200. Like, you're not going to be able to have Ash Blossoms and things like that. That's absolutely fine. But there are substitutes like Effect Veiler. You've got things that you can work with, all right? Which is what I like to see. Now, once again, going second, all right? If I'm on a budget, fuck it. We're going to punish our opponent. We're going to make them feel the wrath of me. And I'm also the kind of budget player that would be like, oh, I'm I'm absolutely poor. Haha, you just lost to my budget deck. It's not even complete. What a scrub. Like, it's that kind of arrogance that just really makes me happy to be a Yu-Gi-Oh player, honestly. So, if everything went right on this list, I would start going towards the Mekk-Knight engine. And once again, it just depends on what your taste are. Personally, though, look, Mekk-Knight of the Green Light Robbie here to tell you guys, pick up your Mekk-Knight cards, because they ain't getting any cheaper. That's for fucking sure. Alright guys, please, if you have any questions that come across as interesting at any time, you know, always feel free to ask them. I will probably take some consideration into it. I do like questions, so, but that's all I have for this video. Remember, Herald of the Green Robbie is fantastically awesome. Remember, Mekk-Knights, best deck. Peace out. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.